My name's Richard Petrie and I'm here with Dick van den Oever, who's just behind the camera. Say hello, Dick.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you. And if you're running an accounting firm, it's kind of interesting because traditional marketing doesn't work particularly well for you. I don't know if you've noticed that. And we specialise in working with people who sell high-priced services or big ticket items. And recently we've been doing some work with accountants and we've found it's been really interesting. It's been a real challenge to how do you get your marketing to work. Well, we've come across a couple of things which is working really, really well. And what we'd like to do is share them with you. Okay, so there's two big problems that accountants have. One, traditional marketing doesn't work very well. You can't put an ad on TV and suddenly make the phone ring, and you probably can't stick an ad in the paper and make the phone ring either. That's the first problem. The second problem is I don't think most accountants are very accurate on knowing where their lead sources or where their new clients are coming from. And I'm going to show you not only where the best source of leads can come from, and it's very much cheaper than traditional advertising, and I'm also going to show you how to tap into it and how to exponentially increase that. So if you're running an accounting firm and you want to grow your client base, you want to do some more advisory work rather than all the compliance stuff, then sit back and we're going to take you through something, and if you like it, then use it, and hope you enjoy. Okay, I need to show you something on the computer screen, so let's go down here. You ready? Let's get into this. Okay, I want to share with you a little story, and it's a little story which really opened my eyes about marketing. I learned a lot about marketing from this, actually, and I think it'll help you too, and hopefully it'll be a major revelation for you like it was for me. Now, a few years ago, myself and Hamish, my business partner, who was an accountant as well, were travelling around the country doing seminars on how to grow your professional services business. And that was great. And we'd always ask, where did your new clients come from? Where do they come from? And what amazed me consistently after seminar was virtually every group would say that 80% of their new clients came from referrals and word of mouth. Now, what I was right about was that their marketing was pretty ordinary. You know, if you can't generate leads from your marketing, it's because you're doing it using old traditional methods, which are out of date. And that was right. But I guess the part I was missing was the massive opportunity there is for referrals and word of mouth. And while most people are getting most of their clients that way, they're really not doing a thorough job. They're really doing nothing to stimulate it, or very, very little anyway. And I would always focus on the marketing and think, right, we can go in there and help them use marketing to win more business, which we can. But what I was missing was a whole nother area, which is probably even easier, is how can we stimulate even more referrals and word of mouth. And I want to go over this because if you get the strategy right, it could be the only strategy you ever need. You know, like I say, I've got a lot of clever marketing stuff, but I really think if people do this properly, they don't need that. Now, I've worked with a lot of bigger companies, and you know, basically what we do is specialise in helping them win new business for people selling professional services. And so large companies, but also work with a lot of smaller ones selling professional services. There's recruitment, there's accounting, there's real estate agents in there. The guy at the top left runs a safari park. The point is, it's all the same. Good marketing applies across the board. Accountants are a little different in some respects, but there is a lot of things that can be taken from other industries and applied into accountancy, and which works. So here's some of the problems for accountants at the moment: being seen as a commodity, that your services are just the same as something they can get down the road, being squeezed on price. Maybe some clients are leaving because they can get it done cheaper down the road, and they don't perceive that you necessarily add enough extra value for them to stay. Sales cycle is slow, hard to convert people from another client. They say they're not happy. They whinge away about their current accountant, but they feel they're stuck and they don't move over, or they take a long time to come over. Winning new clients from marketing, while you may get a lot of referrals and word of mouth, it's not probably something set up in a way that you can just turn the tap on and generate a whole lot more if you need more revenue and cash flow. And how to convert clients from compliance to more advisory work. And I know a lot of my current clients are a little bit, would love to be doing a bit more advisory work and interesting business development type growth work with their clients, but they often get stuck doing the compliance stuff. So When it comes to the marketing, though, we've entered a new economy where the old rules of selling and marketing are no longer as effective as they used to be. Now, if you're using traditional methods, and when I say traditional methods, I'm thinking of putting a brand type ad with your company name up in lights saying we've been in business 25 years and here's what we value. That traditional type of stick your name out in the media type stuff is not working. To start with, it can't be measured. Very hard to be measured whether it's generating any sales or not, because really you're just spending money to get your name out there. It doesn't get the phone ringing. Pretty much everyone else in your industry is doing a similar type of thing, and it's not working for them either. And there's no plan. It's just a random set of activities or actions, and the only thing in common with them is that you're spending money. And as this lady with purple tonsils shows you, it's a painful thing, and it's not working anywhere near as well as it used to. You're not alone. Even the big advertisers are struggling to find ways to generate return on investment on their advertising dollar. And it's not uncommon. I have a friend who runs an advertising agency in Wellington, and he was telling me about a government client who had come on board and was going to spend $1 million or spend $1 million with them on a marketing campaign to try and change the behaviours of New Zealanders. And this was all very well until a year later they discovered, they did a survey, and the results came back saying that the campaign that cost $1 million had absolutely no impact on New Zealanders' behaviours. And I won't mention the campaign because you'll know it, you will have seen it, which I thought was pretty appalling. $1 million government money wasted. I said to the guy running the ad agency, what did the client say? And he said, they were fine with it. Really? Because I come from a background of, if I'm going to do marketing, I need to get, a couple of bucks back, or at least a small return on investment, at least. But to get nothing is not a realm that I'm used to. He said, yeah, no, they were fine. And I said, well, what are they going to do next year? I said, have they still got budget? Yeah, they've got another $1 million. Well, what are they going to do? He said, we're going to run it again. And that staggered me. And this type of thing happens, in the big ad agencies where they run campaigns, and it really is just a branding exercise. The results are not the key thing a lot of the time. And I'm just not used to that type of thing. It staggers me that you can do that with $1 million and not really see any return on your investment at all. But this type of thing goes on. And I think it's because people aren't educated about marketing, the fact that you can generate. There are new ways to make yourself far more effective. So while it's fun to work with an ad agency, and they certainly give good presents and good Christmas parties, it's an expensive way to have a bit of fun. So once you learn to play by the new rules, you can not only learn to thrive, but dominate your industry like never before. And particularly accounting, because, all due respect, when someone says that, they're about to say something pretty cutting afterwards, but accountants are not good marketers. It's not hard for you to outmarket your competition because you're up against very weak competition, I believe. So, once you learn to play by the new rules. But what you do need is accurate thinking. And if you've ever read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, then you might remember his concept where he talked about accurate thinking. Now, accurate thinking, there's different types of thinking. There's the way you think it is, there's the way you want it to be, and then there's the way it really is. And they are three different things. And now, accurate thinking is actually about focusing on the way it really is. So here's some accurate thinking truths that I believe if you were to adopt these, you would be well served. Number one is believing that anything other than selling and marketing will provide a breakthrough to your business profits. It's unlikely you're going to come up with an accounting breakthrough which is going to make you rich. What's going to make you rich is having more clients who are paying more money and coming back and using you more often, maybe for compliance work or other types of work, and bringing their friends. That's what's going to make you. Breakthroughs that facilitate that process is going to make you money. Second accurate thinking principle, being the best doesn't make you money. It should. If you're the best accountant in your region, then you should make the most money. That's how it should be. It's unfair that that's not the case. I know there's a lot of people out there who aren't as good as you, who may be making more money. Now, it doesn't come down to being the best. Once you're good, that's fine. It comes down to how well you market. So, do McDonald's make the best hamburgers? Do Pizza Hut make the best pizzas? Does Microsoft make the best software? No, but they're all the best marketers in their area. It's marketing is the key. And third thing is accurate. Traditional marketing doesn't work anywhere near as well as it used to. In the past, it was okay to run an ad with your company name in the paper and say we've been in business 25 years and give us a call. That would have been fine in the past. Nowadays, unfortunately, congestion we are rife with it. The market is flooded with messages. 10 years ago, the average consumer was bombarded with 1,000 commercial messages a day as they went through their day. Nowadays, that's closer to 3,000 messages per day. What's worse, it's 3 times more money is being spent on marketing than there was 10 years ago. But unfortunately, customer penetration has been reduced by 50%. So people are spending a lot more money. There's a lot more noise and clutter out there on the marketing front, but it's becoming far less effective than ever before. We're all putting up the shutters. We're protecting ourselves by just ignoring all the marketing that's going on around us unless it's really relevant. Second reason why traditional marketing isn't working anymore is that when you try to become visible by using the same marketing strategies as your competitors, especially older, bigger, more established ones, you can pretty much guarantee no one's going to notice you. In fact, you're going to become invisible. Your marketing will become invisible because you're just another me too. There's accountants following accountants, following accountants, following accountants who are lost. A lot of people are following accountants, companies and how they market, and the people they're following, it doesn't work. Accurate thinking principle number 4. This is a bit of tough love today, isn't it? Marketing is not about getting your name out there. It's about making money and getting a return on every dollar you invest. Now, I think you should view marketing exactly the same way you view it when you give your money to your stockbroker or your banker. You give them $1,000. At the end of the year, you want that $1,000 plus you want a profit on it. What you don't want is the share broker to say, I've got no idea where the money went, and you've got to get your money out there. It's about getting your money out there. It's not about getting your money out there. It's about making a profit. And today you have to be sharper with your marketing and demand that you can track it and you can measure it and you can see a return on investment on every dollar you invest. So let's just break through the clutter, and I want to identify with you, and this is, when I formed this little chart here, this is what gave me the breakthrough and allowed me to see things and redirect, I guess, my focus and give a certain area of marketing its due credit that I wasn't giving it. Now, when we go to the seminars, if you remember earlier I said we'd go and we'd say, what's the source of your new clients? And it was amazing the number of people that said referrals and word of mouth accounted for 8 out of 10, 80% of their new clients came from referrals and word of mouth, which means that only 2 were probably coming from the money they were spending on marketing. And this staggered me, and like I say, I sort of really put it down to the fact that they were terrible at marketing, because really they should be getting more than that. But that's what they were getting. Now, so that was fine. Then we'd ask this question. Of your marketing budget for the year, where are you spending your money? And they would say, well, 80% of it's going into activities to, marketing, trying to attract people we don't know and who don't know us. And 20% is going back into, maybe we hold a client function, take them to the movies, have a Christmas function or something like that. But it was 20% is probably generous. A lot more money was being spent marketing and not much money was being spent back on their existing clients to try and generate referrals and word of mouth. What about the believability factor? When you get a lead and it comes from a referral, they said, well, traditionally it's 5 times more. They believe what they hear from a client 5 times more than if we've told them. And the speed of converting that sale is 5 times faster when it's a referral rings up than when we've done some marketing and generated a lead. Works a whole lot better. And I put these on a little chart like they are today, and maybe I gave myself a little more time than I'm giving you, but when you look at that chart, is there anything that jumps off the screen at you in terms of major opportunity? In terms of major opportunity, or even breakthrough, which is even bigger than a major opportunity. And that is, what would happen I'll just go back here, but if we're spending 80% of our money on marketing and generating 2 clients and 20% of our money doing client functions, what would happen if we went 50-50? I'm not saying get rid of your marketing, but I'm saying just cut it back a little bit, and then as a specific marketing strategy, say, well, let's spend half the money that we have for marketing on our existing client base, who are effectively our unpaid sales force. They're already selling us out there in the market. What would happen if we actually spent a bit of money to actually give them a really good experience? What would happen if we actually looked after them a little bit more and rewarded them and actually put a focus on it? Because here's what people think happens. We spend $10, we get 10 clients. Here's what really happens. 8 of those dollars generates 2 clients, and 2 of those dollars generates 8 clients. What it really looks like is that. Now, the orange is your traditional marketing. Your green is your money spent on your clients to generate referrals. Now, this is what's happening already. Now, what would happen if we were to spend 50-50? 50 on traditional marketing, or not even traditional, other type of marketing, but even if it just was traditional. So you're cutting back on your marketing, but you're increasing on activities which are going to generate more referrals. And I would say on the other side, you might lose half your clients that you would generate from your marketing, so you go from 2 to 1. But if you're able to double your referrals because you're spending over double the money on trying to generate them, because you've got 50% to spend on them, double that is a big number, and it's far bigger than the numbers you had before. To me, that's a big breakthrough. That is massive, and it allows us to justify looking after our clients even better, having more fun with them, doing things that inspire more referrals, which is what I want to cover. So traditional marketing is expensive, it's hard to get working, it's hard to measure. Referral marketing is low cost, high return, rewards the clients who are your unpaid marketing or unpaid salespeople. Should have pushed that button a little earlier, shouldn't I? Anyway, let's drill down on referrals. Okay, there's 2 types. There's reactive, which is the one where a phone rings, you answer the phone, and the voice on the phone says, hey, Joe said to give you a call, you're his accountant, he said you were good and said I should touch base with you. Great. You haven't done anything to do that, you haven't done anything to generate that, but it's good news. The other one is where someone says, hey, Joe says to you, you should give Mike a call. Mike's a good guy, and he needs a new accountant. Why don't you give him a call? You might be able to get him as a client. Like I say, both those are reactive. You haven't done much to inspire them, but nonetheless, it's good. What I'm more interested in, I guess, is the orchestrated referrals, because you can't really turn the tap up on reactive referrals, but orchestrated, they're your systems that trigger new referrals consistently, and I want to give you a couple today. So, but before we do that, let's just look at how referrals happen. We're drilling pretty deep on the psychology of referrals here, aren't we? But I think we need to. Referrals usually happen, and it starts with a conversation. And 3 things have to be present in that conversation. Firstly, they have to notice that the conversation is about your business. They have to notice that conversation is about accounting. Secondly, they have to think about you when that conversation is going on. And thirdly, they have to want to insert you into the conversation. Say, hey, you should go and talk with Richard. He's a great accountant. He's my accountant. I really recommend him. Here's his number here. All 3 things have to happen. If all 3 don't happen, nothing happens. Now, these conversations are happening all the time, every day. But are your clients noticing about the topic? Are they thinking about you? And are they inserting you into the conversation? Because I believe that for every referred client that calls you, there are 10 who did not. Minimum. Just think of every referral you've had, there's another 10 at least walking around who could have been referred to you, who maybe should have been referred to you, but they weren't. Because your clients either weren't noticing the topic was about accounting, they weren't thinking of you, they weren't inserting you. What would happen if we could do something about that? Because there's untapped millions, really. If you see, the fan that for every referral we get, there's 10 more to go, there's truckloads of money which you are really not tapping into. Now, I teach 7 different strategies, and I break them up into 2 types. There's incentivized, and then there's inspired. Incentivized is where you give a reward for a referral, which doesn't happen enough. And inspired, I think, are even better. That is where someone becomes so raving about you that they go and tell everybody, and effectively they excite everybody else because they're so excited about the service you provide and what you do for them. So we're going to cover both. I'm going to give you 3 of the top ones today, and we're going to cover Inspired next week or later on. So here's referral strategy number 1. Here it is. Brilliant. Ask. Ask for a referral. Now that doesn't seem too clever. No, it's not, but it's still not done enough. Okay? Now if I was to ask you for a referral, if I'd been working with you for some time, how would you feel? You'd probably feel okay as long as I'd done a good job for you, right? You wouldn't mind, and you'd be happy to help me. And that's how most people are. You don't have to get overly hung up about it. But here's an easy way. You don't want to go cold calling. Let's say they give you a name and they say, yep, here's a name for you. You should touch base with this person. Well, you don't want to cold call. You don't want to ring them up and say, hey, someone put me on to you. So here's what you say. These are the type of clients we're looking to work with. Who should I be speaking with? Okay, so you don't want any type of client. You usually have a type of client that you want. These are the type of clients we're looking for. Who should I speak with? They give you a couple of names. Then you say, look, I don't want to call those people out of the blue. Would it be okay if you call her to make sure it's okay if I touch base? Brilliant. They say, no problem, I'll give them a yell. And as long as they're happy to speak to you, I'll let you know and you can give them a call and you two can hook up. Lovely. Not a cold call now, it's a warm call. Now, you don't want to do it verbally, it could be done, same strategy, this time it's done with an email, but you get them to write an email introduction for you. The email introduction might look like, hi Mike, please meet Richard. Richard's a marketing guy or in your case, accounting person who blah, blah, blah. Richard, Mike runs a small blah, blah, blah. I reckon you guys should catch up because here's the contact details, or here's tech contact details, as we say when we're using multi-language, bilingual PowerPoint slides, as these ones are. So you don't want a cold call, you want a warm call. Now, if I call up after the email has been sent to both of us, then I can say, hey, I just got an email from Pete, and Pete said we should touch base. So, I'm his accountant. He seems to be a good guy. It sounds like you run a similar type of operation. I might be able to help you out. Do you want to catch up for coffee? Yep, no problem. I got that email. Great. Off and away. That's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2 is what I call referral pricing. And it's quite a good one to use if someone is trying to push you on price. And maybe you're happy to reduce the price, but when you reduce the price, you feel a little bit awkward because it cheapens your service and makes the client think, well, if he was able to discount his price or her price, why were we being charged the original price in the first place? Obviously, we're being overcharged, but if they're still happy at a lower price. So what you do is you say, would you like the referral price or the normal price? Or this could be offered as part of your standard package. Would you like the referral price or the normal price? Now, they're going to ask, what's the referral price? And you'll then reply, well, basically, people who refer us will make 3 introductions for us to people who fit this category. We give them this discount. And it may be 5, 10, 15, whatever you think is suitable, but they get a discount enough that they want to go into that bracket. And not only do you get the client on board and they feel they've got a good deal, but you also get 3 introductions, which makes it very easy then to potentially generate new clients. Be very specific about the type of clients you're after when you're looking for the referrals. But even if you don't get referrals from it, even if they don't give you referrals, you've justified discounting your price. You've justified, and that's quite important because you don't want to be discounting willy-nilly. So that's strategy number 2. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. Strategy number 3 is where you send your clients a voucher that they can give to their friend that fits within the category of new client you're trying to attract. Okay? So you give them a voucher, they then give the voucher to a friend, and there's some sort of incentive for the friend to have that initial meeting with you, and there's some sort of incentive if the person who gives it away ends up getting a client, then there's an incentive for them. In this case, this was New Zealand Teamwear. They do uniforms and things like that, and you got a free gear bag worth $85 if you booked a meeting with them. Pretty cool. sort of concept. Now bear in mind, if a client of yours gives out one of these vouchers to someone, they're not just going to be giving the voucher out with the incentive to meet with you. They're also likely to be telling your prospect about you as an accountant and how good you are. So they're getting the full rundown from one of your clients. So when they do call, they've been given a sales pitch by your client, or at least an overview, and you know they're a pretty warm lead. So once again, another good strategy. Those are 3 really good ones to generate referrals, and they would all work for accountants, and they all do work for accountants. Finally, how to orchestrate inspired referrals. And this is probably more powerful than any of those 3. And what we want to do is set up something called a remarkable client experience. A remarkable client experience. And this is where, and it's an experience that stimulates your clients so much that they have to talk about you to others. If they go to a dinner party, they have to talk about you at the dinner party. And this is, like I say, this is probably the strategy. If you implement this, it's the only thing you need. It works like gravity, doesn't matter whether you believe me or not. I think as soon as you see it, you're going to go, yep, that's right, I know that would work. In a way, it's common sense. So in video number 2, we're going to cover the remarkable client experience. It's about inspiring referrals. I'm going to show you the structure of how to set up a remarkable client experience and the 2 key components you need. We'll probably talk a couple of stories about Pike Place Fish Market, Disneyland, and Chef's Restaurant in Fiji. Now, if a fish market can create a remarkable client experience and become the #1 tourist attraction in Seattle, then I think an accountant can do something as well. Okay, hey, I hope you've enjoyed this. Like I say, in a couple of days, you'll be getting video number 2 about the remarkable client experience, which I believe is the #1 referral strategy that I've ever seen. I've been studying this for the last 5 years. It's the best and works, but would work particularly well for an accounting firm. Bear in mind, none of your competitors are doing anything particularly clever. So it's not actually hard to outmarket your competition. But this will absolutely wipe the floor with them. Well, how about that then? Well, hopefully you got something out of this. I hope that when you're looking at it, you're also saying, I sort of already knew that. It's common sense. It's not really rocket science. What it's doing is coming back and honing in on what really works and who it really works for. So I've enjoyed presenting it to you. Dick, have you enjoyed videoing this?
Yeah, this is great.
It's been brilliant, hasn't it? Right, so what you need to do, we are going to show you specifically in the next video exactly how to put together a remarkable client experience for your clients and your contacts. And I'm going to step you through exactly how to do it, how we've done it in a way which has worked for, like I say, some of our clients, which has worked brilliantly. So what you're going to need to do is quid pro quo, stick in your details on the right. I mean, I sort of already know who you are, but it's nice for you to put your name and email address, and I think it's on the right, and you will be automatically sent the next 2 videos in the next couple of days where we're going to tell you step by step how to do it. So hopefully you've enjoyed talking with me, even though it's only been one way. Dick's been a little quiet, admittedly, but I look forward to catching up with you in a couple of days. Like I say, stick your details in to the right. I think it's right. And we'll see you soon.